So let's talk about sequencing. And just to ground us, because it's mid to late afternoon, I will ask you to look in your notes, or actually, let's not even do that. From your memory of being in a yoga class, what's the first thing in our therapeutic system that we do? First thing we do in class.
Notice the breath.
And where are we doing when we do that?
Where are we physically?
Yes.
We're sitting on a block.
We're sitting on a block. Now that may seem to you, because you've been taking class for a while, sort of a natural thing. But as we said before, it's really different than standing. So the first part of the class is something we do. What was the key verb you used about the breath?
Notice.
Notice. And what does that connote? What does that conjure up?
Awareness.
Awareness. So the first part of the class begins with awareness building. It's also reinforcing the non-judgmental, the choice of words, notice your breath, you know. Yes, so non-judgmental awareness. And then we're also cultivating what here? What limb of yoga are we working with that is almost equated with awareness?
Pratyahara.
Pratyahara. And you can language it in a myriad of ways that works for you, but you're taking your outer senses, outer awareness, and drawing them inward so that they become internal awareness. And what that does symbolically is really important in a class, because it says to the people in the class, this is not about the poses you do and how well you do them and how fancy they are. It's about going in here and having your own unique experience in here. So when you think about, as you were talking about props, Jess, you know, this idea that my pose needs to be as good as that pose or as good as that pose. When you're in here, that stuff becomes a lot less relevant. So I would say that the thread of Pratyahara is birthed from the moment you sit on the block in Virasana or cross-legged. Pratyahara is birthed here, and then it evolves and flourishes and blossoms throughout the class, so that when you finally come to Shavasana, that awareness has ripened to such an extent that you can sense and feel what has awakened and opened, rather than simply experiencing Shavasana as just a rest that you do at the end of hard work. Does that make sense? So that the awareness has blossomed and kind of exploded to such an extent that all the different bodies have integrated your practice. That's the goal. So when we talk about scaffolding, we birth the awareness right from the beginning and cultivate it and nourish it and water it and retrain it and re-practice it all through the class. That's the sort of queen or king intention, the Maha intention behind our sequencing. So that the class isn't something that you do that makes you feel better than you felt when you came in, but that it begins to ignite and feed and expand little shifts throughout the whole mind-body network.